So, thanks for everyone thanks to everyone for coming out tonight. Unfortunately, I think we didn't get to have a meet the manager for the last for Mickey, but it's never an ideal situation when you're having multiple meet the managers for the first time during a season. But we are where we are, and I think this time around, this could be a special one. I think obviously watching AD work the last couple of weeks, and then with the additions of Lindsay and Grant this week, with the potential of more to come, I think, even though we're 18 games in the season, I think there's plenty of time to get back to where we thought we would be when we started, and the season could still be something special. So just wanted to obviously give you guys an opportunity to get to know these three guys and show your appreciation to them and kind of thank them for being up here. And hopefully we'll kick on tomorrow with 3 points against a decent Macclesfield team. So just a reminder that there is a race night at the Ambrose to support the Supporters Trust. That starts at 8:30 now, I believe. So we'll probably be done, depending on how many questions you have for Grant. Hopefully we'll have finished up in time for you guys to hopefully get down to the Ambrose and support the trust. So I'll start off to make sure that AD and Lindsay get at least one question each before the barrage ensues. So AD, you've now been with the club for 2 weeks now. Obviously got a very good result against Aldershot. What have you seen from the boys in the last 2 weeks, and what are your sort of expectations from here in terms of what this club can do?
Good evening, everybody. I think the last 2 weeks, I've been very impressed. Their attitude's been absolutely first class. Their dedication's very good. They work extremely hard. Obviously, with the Aldershot game, obviously it was a massive help that we won that game. But all in all, I've been very impressed, but I'm under no illusions. It's still a tough job, a very tough job, and it's early days at the moment. But we're going in the right direction. That's off the pitch as well, because there's lots of things that obviously we've worked together, Andrew and Paul. And obviously very pleased to get these two on board. These are two main targets. I knew that we needed a fitness coach, and Lindsay brings a wealth of experience. He's a masseuse as well. He's jack of all trades, mate, really, and master of none. But generally is a gentleman and really wants to work hard as well. So and obviously getting Grant in was very important for me, and I think for the football club as well, because again, it's another positive, and I think that's what we need. We need to get smiles on the faces of everybody's face. And that comes through results as well. But I think with the addition of these two gentlemen here, especially obviously Grant, being a player coach is a very positive thing, and the wealth of experience he will give to the boys here is going to be invaluable. And also and I said in an interview today, on the coaching side of things, I've already asked him. I've asked him so many questions because I'm just intrigued. What other managers he's been under, how they work, their strengths and weaknesses, their coaching, etc., etc., etc. So I think it's fantastic, and I think we're going in the right way. We're going in the right, and obviously this week has been a big week for me personally with the additions of these two boys. But don't get me wrong, I'm very focused on tomorrow's game because it's a big game for us tomorrow, really big game. But we're going in the right direction, that's for sure.
So Lindsay, you joined on Monday, showed up, sort of had now a week of training. What's your sort of assessment of where the boys are? Because we naturally assume that sort of this far into the season, everyone should be fit and be able to play for 90 minutes. But what's your assessment of where we are and what needs to be done over the next couple of weeks to get these guys ready?
I think looking at them, they're the biggest thing for me. They're honest lads, really honest lads who want to work hard. And I think they've lacked structure in all sort of departments of the fitness side of it. So strength, endurance, nutrition. I don't think, I think there is some work to do. Obviously, that's why I'm here. But from what I've seen from them, they've taken everything on board. We've started hydration testing them. They've taken all that on board. and they've been really good, and they want to learn. And they are a good bunch of lads. They're asking questions. That's always very good. And they want to do extra. They want to do extra. Some of them we need to hold back a little bit because they do too much. But again, that's guidance. That's what I'm here for. And we need to work on all areas. So nutrition, fitness, all has to be one, all has to come together. But yeah, we can improve them physically, definitely improve them physically. But that's not for their lack of effort, because from what I've seen in the last week, they want to learn and they work hard, and they work hard for it. So, but we will improve them, but it will take time. You can't come straight in and start giving them double sessions and working them hard, because you're going to pick up injuries. It's a gradual process, and it's small steps and improvements in all areas. But it will happen, and you will see a difference. Over the next few weeks you will see a difference in them. But, the biggest thing is their enthusiasm and wanting to learn and ask questions.
So in terms of, I think it's almost been a sort of couple of years now since we've had any sort of fitness coach or assistant on board who was sort of focused on the strength and conditioning of the boys. What is it like sort of going into that kind of environment where there's not a lot of existing structure or processes and things like that in place?
For me, it's good, because small changes get results. So it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge. Like I said, in all areas, the nutritional side of it, the physical side of it, and the mental side of it as well. But for me, the project here is fantastic. And all professional footballers need structure, need discipline. They might not want it at the time, but they all need structure and discipline. And that's what we bring. We want them to work hard. We'll make them work hard. But I don't think we'll have any problems in motivating them. Not from what I've seen. They're a real good, honest bunch of lads. And I've worked with a few sides. I've got to say, it's refreshing to work with lads who want to learn and want to take things on board. So I'm feeling really positive. We can get some really good improvement out of the lads.
Okay, Grant, welcome back to Barrow. Obviously, this is something that's been rumored, and since you went on BT Sport and said you were interested in the role, and constantly been bothered by the interest from our fans since. So what sort of, even going back to that so what interested you in what this club's trying to achieve, and what brought you back eventually?
I think everyone knows that, even though I've been away for a long time, I've always kind of kept a vested interest in. Tell me what to do that. I guess the vested interest in what the club have been doing and how they're trying to do it. I think it's been well known that I've been very vocal about what the club are trying to achieve. And as I said, I just thought the last time when obviously I've been involved, I've been doing my coaching badges and stuff. And as I said, I've spoken to your dad quite a numerous number of times, and he's shown me what he wants to achieve as a football club. And everything he wants to do is something that I think this club should be. And as I said, I thought a few weeks, 8, 9, 10 weeks ago, it wasn't right for me to come to the football club at the time with the people who are here. And obviously, I've known Eddie for a while, and we've got familiar friends who speak. And I had a chat with the gaffer, and he told me exactly what he expects and what he wants to do and what he achieves, and changed the whole ballpark. And as soon as that opportunity was here to come and do that, I took it with 2 hands.
So how do you see yourself managing the sort of dual roles of player and coach, and then how do you sort of move in between those?
The way Lindsay's talking, I'm going to jump straight back onto the coaches because I'm not doing that much running. No, it's something we've spoken about it last week. That obviously me and the guy have spoken. We've spoken numerous of times. Obviously, not before the 7-day period was over, because that'd be illegal and we couldn't do it. So we had a chat, and we know how it's going to work. As I said, I've been quite lucky. The one thing that Kingsland taught me is it is quite difficult to do the coaching and then be involved in the sessions. And what I've spoke about is how we're involved with the sessions. We speak about what they want to do, and the manager tells me what what he wants the lads to do that day, and we'll talk about the sessions, but when it gets to half 10, the coach's head comes off a little bit and you go into football mode, because you've got to kind of be in the session, you've got to be doing it properly and concentrating on what the football side of stuff is, and then in the mix of that, then you'll give your opinions and try and coach the lads as you do that.
So in terms of, you've obviously played at this level and up into the highest levels of English football, how do you sort of take what you've done at those highest levels and implement them here despite sort of the money and all those sorts of things? How much can you take and bring that to this club?
I think when you, as a player, when you go through all the careers and you meet so many different people and you meet so many different players, and the one thing that it does give you the life experiences is that no matter who you're working with in the dressing room, everyone's different. Some players have got things going on in the background that people don't know about. Some people's maybe got 3 kids at things. Some people's maybe a young lad who likes a night out. So the one thing you've got to do is you manage people and you use experiences. You try and tell them. We've got a lot of young lads in that squad, and if anyone looks at what I've done from this football club, by hard work and desire and structure, which the gap has been talking about, you can go on to achieve different things. As I say, hopefully it's with us and we go up all together, but if not, then they do what they're doing and they move on. I'm sure everyone will give them a pat on the back, and if they can look at themselves and, like Lindsay said, buy into what these are doing with the nutrition, which they haven't been doing, the fitness, which we do know they need work on, and they'll go on and have good careers, and it can only do well for Barrow.
All right, I'll open it up to you guys now and pass the mic around. So, who wants the first shot? Ready?
Yeah, really, this is for you, isn't it? Yeah. After the Aldershot game, I think the lads showed the standard that they could achieve and the level that was expected, both from the spectators from the beginning of the season. Having set that standard, I don't think anything else less than what we saw against Aldershot would be acceptable at this moment. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. I think in any game that you play, I think running around and giving it 100% is a given. You know, everyone have a bad day at the office. I say bad at the office. For us, it's bad part. You know, the pass might go astray, or the finishing might be poor, your defending might be poor, this that, and the other. But I think everyone wants to see, and I think everybody in here and out there on a Saturday and a Tuesday night want to see heart and desire. You know, and I think if you give that, you're halfway there anyway. If you work hard, I'm a great believer. You know, you get out what you put in. The ability is there. We've seen the ability. I've seen the ability over the last 2 weeks. Now, I shouldn't be telling them to, you know, go for 50-50s, blah blah blah. But you know, maybe that's what's been missing. But no, the Aldershot game was, you know, I tinkered with it at the start with Neil, just doing bits and pieces, and obviously it worked. But I think the biggest thing really, we picked up a lot of second balls. To be fair, we won a lot of headers, tackles. We've done the basic stuff well, and that was the difference. And then when you do the basic stuff well, then hopefully the ability will come through as well. And I thought obviously the 3 very good finishes. But if you look at the first goal, you know, again people ask me, you know, what's your philosophy and blah blah blah, this that and the other, and is it long ball, is it pass? And then of course everybody wants to see 25 passes across and a goal. Do you know what I mean? But that's not going to happen. And I thought it was great last Saturday. 2 weeks ago at Aldershot. Was if you look at the first goal, there's like 5-6 passes, lovely little through ball and a great finish. And the second goal, just a big long ball from the keeper, from Stu. Centre half missed it and a great finish. So again, it doesn't matter how we score. You know, we're all on the sidelines giving it, get in there, my son, blah blah blah, and a little bit stronger than that. But do you know where I'm coming from? But I just think we want to see the team do well, and we want to see them win. So and you've got to remember, we're not in a great position. You know, if you look at the table, we're still not good. You know, and there's still a lot to do. But we're going in the right direction. But my biggest thing is, and I told them on Saturday before the Aldershot, it's a given that you run around and tackle and do all the basic stuff. And I think that's what you all want to see as well on a Saturday and a Tuesday, because it's a given.
We can accept that getting beat if we give 100%.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll accept that.
Yeah. See, the boys will make mistakes. We know we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. So, you know, and they will make mistakes.
Yeah.
But obviously, as long as they learn from it, you know, and if they do it again, you know, I won't be happy, and if they do it again, I won't be in the team. So, if they, you know, do you know what I mean? So, as long as they learn from their mistakes, but I want them to go out there and enjoy themselves, you know, and I said to them, when we score, everybody get over there and jump on each other, do you know what I mean? And show that togetherness, but it helps with yourselves being with us as well and coming on board what we want to do, and because we all want the same thing from top to bottom, from Paul all the way to the kit man or the tea lady and yourselves, blah blah blah. We want Barrow to be successful. That's what we all want. And if we're all in it together, then we're going in the right direction. You know, but there'll be times when we you know, we're going to look, you know, football. You know, we're all football managers, by the way, because I'll have a team on Saturday. I'll pick a team tomorrow. And you'll also, I don't think he should be playing, or I think we should play in this formation. And we're all football managers, and you're entitled to that as well, because you pay good money, and I'll never knock you for that. But I think the biggest thing is that, you know, is just that everybody should be in the same hymn sheet, and come quarter 5, hopefully we get the 3 points, but if not, at least you'll go home and say, well, at least we had a good old go. We were beaten by a better team. Sometimes you have to put your hand up and say, we were beaten by this better team on the day. But no, we're going in the right direction, that's for sure. And it was a great start on the old shot game. It was very important, especially with the 2 weeks that I've just had. You're welcome.
Hi, this is addressing on something that Grant said. He said that it's all about man management, which, I mean, I sort of go along with that anyway. But did you find that when you came, AD, that confidence was down in some of the players? Because that was the way they were playing. They just hadn't got the confidence there.
Yes.
And then seemingly the Aldershot game, unfortunately, I couldn't get it.
Yes.
But it sounded as if they were playing more with confidence. And maybe that first goal did it, you know, you just don't know what lifts them. But
yeah, I think a different voice, different ideas maybe. And with Mickey, you know, obviously we want to look forward, but he was unlucky with injuries. There was injuries at bad times, but I think winning breeds confidence. Winning does breed confidence, I promise you now. And obviously, when in the predicament that we're in, you know, it's, you know, if you go a goal behind, sometimes you think, oh, here we go again. You know, as a player, I've been there before when you've been losing games, and you're not scoring goals as well. If you're not scoring goals, you go 1-0 down, you think, oh, we're struggling here because we're not scoring goals. I think it's very important to get that first goal, really important. And then I think when we scored that first goal, all of a sudden it's like the shackles had come off, you know, and they just expressed themselves. So I said to them, you know, you're getting paid what you love to do. You know, there's no pressure. I'm not putting any pressure on, you know, and just go out there and enjoy yourself, but do it in the right way, obviously. And I think that's what happened. I think we scored the first goal against the Aldershot game, and it was like all of a sudden, you know, everyone was happy, and yourselves, you know, you thought, oh, here we go, happy days, you know. And that's, I think that does win and breeds confidence, and you do get a habit when you win. That is a good habit. But there is a habit, unfortunately, if you lose, that gets an habit as well. So you have to, a little bit of luck. You need a bit of luck as well, you know. But they're in a good place at the moment.
It's a question for Lindsay, really. Saying about injuries before, we seem to have had more than our fair share of injuries. I think most of them being like hamstring injuries, that sort of thing. Is that down to fitness or training or just bad luck? Because we seem to get a lot.
Injuries, they can be bad luck, but you have to do the maximum you can to actually take every sort of chance away from it happening. So, like we were talking about hydration testing, it's a new thing to most of the lads, and it's very, very important, obviously, because muscles are made up 70% of water. And if you're dehydrated, straight away, you're high risk of injury. And again, it's about structure. It's about having, every player is different. Every player is built differently. Every player has a different training routine. And I think sometimes at clubs, one size fits all, especially at lower league clubs, because you haven't got the personnel. I think physio's had a really tough time with injuries, trying to do a lot of work. And I think Matt's, you know, a great lad. But I think for me to come in and take a lot of work off of him, and sorting out problems which take time. Hamstrings, you know, can be very, very difficult. Soft tissue can be very difficult, but they can also be limited. So again, each player will have his own personal routine in the gym. We've already started a prehab session, which will work on hamstrings, which will work on glute activation, so we'll get the muscles firing properly in the right order, and we'll work on flexibility. As I said, the lads work really hard, but sometimes you can work too hard when you need to work smarter. So, and you know, they're asking questions all the time, and there are some lads here who had, I think, have had 5 hamstring injuries. So there's something biomechanically, there's something wrong with a few of the lads, and that's going to take time to sort out. But with their own personal programs and with the prehab stuff we do in the mornings, the hydration testing, getting the nutrition right, that's very important. You know, if we're going to train them, we're going to train them properly, we're going to train them hard, we need to put the proper nutrition back into them. We can't train them hard and just let them go and have no decent nutrition. It's all together, it's all as one. So yeah, we can limit the soft tissue injuries, and not straight away, it's going to take a little bit of time, but hopefully everything we're doing, everything we're putting in place, that will start to actually decrease. I'm quite confident about that. So yeah, but it's going to take time, and every little step, and if we improve 1% in every area, then we'll start improving.
Following on from that then, following on from that then, so is there an update on some of our injured players, when they're likely to reappear?
Well, we've got Dan had a scan on Wednesday on his knee, and hopefully we'll have the results of that scan on Monday, and see what's going on in his knee, because he's not comfortable with it at the moment. Fitz is back running now. They're both doing a bit of straight line running, aren't they, at the moment? But again, Fitz is about maybe 2 or 3 weeks away. Musa will be involved he'll be in the squad tomorrow, Musa, which will be a big plus. So yeah, and then we've got long term, which are not around at the moment. But it's again just gone on what Lindsay was saying. I think, you know, I think it's important. Like I said before, when I started, that you got to know the individual. Now, even with injuries, you know, some of the boys I found out that they've been driving, say, 3 hours in the training or 2.5 hours in the training, and then, you know, when you're sitting behind a car for 2 or 3 hours coming into training, then, you know, your backs and your glutes will be seizing up, and then when you come out training, you know, that's you're really got the chance you might pull a hamstring or a groin or whatever. So every club I've been at, to be fair, we get the boys in at 9:45 now, and like I said, like Lynn said, what they do is, well, the first thing they do is they have a urine test to see if Lindsay does a test, bless him, and they do a little wee in a little cup, and then he dips a stick in there and see if they're dehydrated or not. And then honestly, the results are phenomenal. 4 or 5 of them are really, really dehydrated, and it's a good tool, isn't it? Good tool that you've got there. So again, it's educating them, and then so at 9:45 they go and they again, I've got Lindsay to go up in the room and they stretch their backs. He's very good with putting backs back in the line and things like that. And so they foam rollers, just general stretching. That's 9:45, and then at 10:30 they come out to us and have a general training session, general warm up. But I think that half an hour is so important, really so important. And when we've got to educate them, we tell them that they've got to remember they're professional footballers. You know, I don't want them to come in for an hour and a half, so-called hour and a half, a little bit longer than that, but, you know, they've got to, you know, it's a great opportunity. Look what Grant has done in his career, you know, and why can't they do that? Do you know what I mean? And so he's a great example of what, you know, if you work hard and put this in, that and the other, and us giving them the right information, and it is the right information, and they have come on board with it, then, you know, we'll see results. But we have to be careful at this present time. Like I say, we can't, because we think they can be fitter, they can be conditioned better. We can't just go bang, bang, bang and run them and do this, because they will break down. So it's got to be structured. So we're going in, so again, we're going the right way about that, that's for sure.
A question for Grant Holt here. Do you see yourself as an impact player coming off the bench, or do you see yourself when you are match fit, starting games and playing full 90 minutes? How do you see yourself these days?
Depends how bad I am, that's probably a question for you guys. Yeah. No, I'm good. As I said, I've done, I think it's 33 games last year for Hibs. So I was probably the fittest I've been 2 years out with a knee injury and came back and so I think that's kind of helped me a little bit. At the time, I think it's a help, but I think it has been. So obviously I've had a summer off of waiting for the right thing to come along. I had opportunities to go to League 1 and League 2 playing, but that's not something I wanted to do. I want to do a bit of both. Fitness-wise, I'm feeling good. I played 75 minutes for Kingsland, 80 minutes for Kingsland. I'm getting back into the swing of things and back into full-time training stuff. So obviously the next, it's just a case of building it up, really, getting the fitness back to being there week in, week out training. But as I said, I'm good to go. But I think if the gaffer dropped 2 lads in, the 1-3-1 the other week and one got a hat-trick, I think there won't be 2 best players at the moment.
I think I'll answer that question as well, really, to be fair. It'll start as well. You know, I ain't got no problem with Grant starting. Because when I was at Forest Green, I bought Lee Hughes in. And Lee Hughes was absolutely fantastic for me, and he was, I think he was 36, 37 at the time. I had no hesitation in starting him. Obviously, we managed him as well. Obviously, he couldn't play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, but you manage him. But what he brought into the club at Forest Green was professionalism. Obviously, his enthusiasm was fantastic. And then obviously got John Parkin in as well, and he was absolutely unbelievable as well, And Grant will be exactly the same. I have no hesitation in starting Grant. But like Brian just said, if hopefully tomorrow we'll have another lad who scores a hat-trick, and the other lad next to him is playing very well as well, and it'll be great for all of us, obviously. But I have no hesitation in starting him, that's for sure. As long as he's playing well. But I'll treat him like, as a player, I'll treat him as a normal player, and he knows that. So, but no, it's no hesitation in starting him at all. And obviously as an impact player, because he'll manage the game as well. He's got that experience of managing the games, and obviously, and it's just with not as well as us, he manage our players. I think it'd be great, with the referee, the way he speaks to the referee, etc., and that sort of stuff. I think would be invaluable.
Well, see you tomorrow.
I'll ask another one. How are you going to balance living where you are, like with your family and that, and living in Rochdale and coming here? Do you see it working long term?
Yeah, well, I've been fortunate. Obviously my family live in Kent, in Gillingham in Kent, so and I had 6 years at Stoke City, so I've done the same, where we'll always have a base, because in football you can go here and everywhere, you can move the family here and everywhere, and it's, we've got schools. I've got 5 children, and the youngest is 12 and the oldest is 30, so, and a grandson now, which is fantastic. But so we have our base there. So I was lucky. I had 6 great years at Stoke, and then 2.5 years, very good years at Forest Green. So it was like 8, 9 years of very good, and we got used to it really. So what I do is I'll stay up in Manchester or Rochdale all week, and then go home after a game on the weekends. Obviously, it's better way for me personally and for my family when it's down south. Especially from Barrow way down to Kent is a long bloody journey. But I'm here. I have to stay up. I can't just go to and fro, obviously, because I'll be tired anyway. But I've got to give it my all for this football club, because I'll be cheating yourselves, especially I'll be cheating Paul and Andrew, and I'll be cheating myself. So I have to be 100% committed. So I'll be, and Lindsay's the same, and obviously Grant as well.
now the three of you are here, are we going to see a lot more football on the deck and the width, using the width?
And usually the width.
Yeah, because when we used the width on Saturday, he scored.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't seem to use it a lot that way.
They also scored from a long ball.
Yeah, we will.
I was using the width, yeah. No,
But I think I can answer that question.
the last few managers we've had,
Yes.
the ball's always in the air. It's like the volleyball, you know, instead of being on the deck. Are we going to see more football?
I think you saw. I think when the boys, like I say, I think you saw some football on against Aldershot.
Oh yes, we did. Yeah.
So forgive
Is
me.
that
That's only my first game. Give me an opportunity to show you. So, but I'll be silly to. I won't say too much about it tomorrow, but I like the width. I do like width. I love to see a wide player take on somebody one-on-one, get past and get across, and you've got a centre forward score ahead. I love it. I love to see that, and it gets bums off seats. For me, is what it does. So it excites me. So I know where you're coming from, but I don't care how we score at the moment. I promise you now. But yeah, you know, it's it could be 0-0 tomorrow, 94th minute, and we pump the ball forward, and it's windy, and the keep, you know, and we score, and we'll be like we do to the Conga. So, but we'll all be happy. So if, you know, of course, like I said before, we want to score football and goals, as they say, 25 passes and a cross and a goal. Of course, everybody wants to see that. But reality. You know, we are in reality really, but I think, you know, we're doing okay. I think if we can mix both up, because there'll be times we'll be going further up north or further down south on a Tuesday night, and it's horrible, windy, rainy, muddy, and you can't do that because the ball will be stuck in puddles and mud. So you have to roll up your sleeves sometimes and grind the result out. And I think if you've got the mix of both, and good football and having the right old go as well, then it's a recipe for success.
Last year we played, I think with Blackburn or Bury in the Lancashire Cup, and we had 5, 6, maybe even 7 kids from the community football playing.
Yes.
And there were 3 of those that actually stood out, and I was hoping that our previous manager, about 5 managers ago, I think it was, Cox, was going to think about signing them, because there were 2 who were absolutely outstanding. Are you going to further links with the community so that we can look at these kids? Because there's a lot of them, they get the foot on the ladder. We've had good local lads before that have gone on to different things, Mike Wearmouth, Mike Crowe, Jackie Madison, people like that.
Yes.
And it would be nice to think that you can try and pull the people from the community.
Yeah, well, last Friday, was it, Andrew? I think it was last Friday. I had a meeting with the community coaches. There's 6 or 7 of them. So I had a one-on-one with them. And then, yeah, I think it's very important that it's close. It's a different situation here, and obviously where we're situated in Rochdale, and obviously Barrow's up here, so you've got an hour and a half, 2 hours away. It's a little bit different from, say, other clubs. But we want that togetherness, like I said before, and I think every opportunity that we have got, then we'll be coming up here, and like, you know, with 150 children up here, was it 150, Andrew? 150, and it was fantastic, honestly. And they watched the training, and it was a nice day. Believe me, it was a nice day. You know, there was no rain, there was no wind. It was a really nice day. And I couldn't believe it. But it was great for the children. You know, they took autographs, they had photos done, and Paul and Andrew were kind enough to give them a ticket each and a scarf, and they were absolutely buzzing. And every opportunity, if we can, we'll be going to schools around the area, you know, assemblies and doing some PR stuff, because it's very important. The community is very important, but it's difficult, obviously, with the location where we are, where we train. But every opportunity like we can, then we certainly will be. And like I said, I've already spoken to the 6 or 7 community coaches that there is last Friday, and it was very good. You know, good 45, say half an hour with them. And I asked them if there's any young whippersnappers coming through, because we'd all love to see a young lad come through. Of course we would. But if they're good enough, they'll play. Not a problem. But they've got to be. You've got to be careful, because there's a big step from under 18 football, say, in the community to men's football. There's a big jump. There really is, and we have to be realistic. But if they're good enough, sure they'll be involved with us. That's for sure. I think well, I know. I said to Craig, who's the head of the community, I said to him, even they can come to us on a Friday, one Friday. Whenever they're free, they can come down to Rochdale and they can be involved with us. I'm not talking about like five-a-side with them, because obviously we're big and strong, but involved in some shape work, and so they get to know us and we get to know them. So they can come down to us as well. So it's a good opportunity.
Oh, is it? You going coffee? Yeah. Go on then, you got the mic. I'm going to manage a quick one. All right.
Score my life.
Obviously, I appreciate the fact that we train down at Rochdale and, logistics, etc. But one thing we've got out there is a football pitch that is predominantly in a Wesley Wind. 50% of our home games are in Wesley Winds. Now, that can be used as an advantage. Do you see it as an option to come and train the guys in those conditions? Because one thing we do quite often, certainly from a goalkeeper side, the distribution's pretty poor when the wind's blowing. There's no appreciation for how strong it is out there, and I think we can use it to our advantage.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, the Aldershot game is a prime example, really. And I've been here, obviously, we've brought teams here, and obviously been scouting here, so I know all about it. It's not a problem. The players know as well. But the Aldershot game was great because I said, obviously, if you got the wind, if we've got the advantage of the wind, from the back, then obviously use it. It's we play a fairly high line, so any straight, there's no straight balls. Any straight balls go all the way through to the keeper or whatever. Hit diagonals, shots, plenty of shots. Make it really bad, awkward for the opposition. And then again, when you've got the wind against you, then that's where got to get the ball on the floor a bit more. Obviously, if you're going, you have to hit the ball. You can over-hit the ball if you're going to put the ball down channels, for example. But the distribution and your passing's got to be spot on, because there's no point keep putting the ball up in the air, It's just, obviously, as we know, it's just going to fly back, and you'll be under pressure all the time. But I thought the Aldershot game, we did enough manage it very well. And it's only little things like that. So now we take on board, that's 100%. And it's got to be an advantage to us. This has got to be a fortress for us because of the conditions and because yourselves, you're very passionate and vocal. And, it's a horrible place to come, for the opposition. Great for us. So let's use it for our advantage. And I think we did on the Aldershot game. And that should be like it all the time.
Yeah, I'll just shout. Question for Grant. Obviously, last time you were here, it was a league below, but how do you think this level of football's moved on since you were last here? Talking about what you've been on about nutrition. I'd imagine last time you were here, you had to do a piss test for a lot of the players that you're now. How's it moved on? How's it developed?
No, we were alright. The pies used to soak their drink up, so no, the league now is completely different. As I said, the one below is probably, everything's moved on, and in life it does, and it's different now. And you've got to be quicker, you've got to be faster, you've got to be stronger. You can't go out on a Thursday night and Friday night like some lads used to do. I never used to go out. Only had 6 pints on a Friday. But it's a different ball game now. You've got to be at the top, and that's why I said that's why you've got to have someone like Lindsay and his experience, because a lot of young lads do need that structure, they need that discipline, because it's big, quicker and faster now, and the game moves on. You need to make sure you're at the top, you've got to make sure you have the right food, you've got to make sure the hydration levels are high, because it's funny, as a joke about it, you can't have someone coming over 900p that looks like he's got popcorn in his piss, do you know what I mean? Because it just shows how dehydrated he is, and the likelihood is he's going to get injured. In this day and age, you can't have players being not at the gaffer's disposal, so as a group of players, they're buying into it, they've embraced what they're doing, they're trying, as Lindsay said, it's small steps to try and get a big goal, and I think once he implements what he wants to implement, I think you'll see in the next 8 to 12 weeks that the lads will look fitter, stronger, with touch of wood, that the injuries come down, and we're in a good place.
I just wanted to ask about since Paul Ogden's gone, what have we got in the scouting season for future players for Barrow A.F.C?
Yeah, I think again, obviously we all got connections. Obviously, football's a small community, it really is. And people have already asked me that question. Obviously, you're a southerner, blah blah blah. But I had 6 years at Stoke, and you know, I've got great connections up this area. Obviously, Grant has as well. Scouting network, I've got a lad who's been with me where I've been, does all the southern area for us, and I've got another scout who does the north. Obviously, when we've got games, so my coaching staff can't go out on a Saturday and a Tuesday, obviously, but we have scouts go out, yes, for sure. Because and just going on that, I have to have every stone's got to be unturned. You know, I can't go out and the players can't go out knowing that, you know, their strengths and weaknesses, the opposition's strengths and weaknesses, you know, even down their height. I mean, you know everything really. Do you know what I mean? It's just we're a full-time football club, so we've got to do it properly, and that's me really. I need everything done properly, and I trust people that doing the reports also. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, I don't want anyone doing the reports. It's got to be people that we know. It's very, very important.
Is there any aspect of the squad you want to strengthen, or are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think it'd be unfair if I said, yeah, well, I'd like to get like 6 or 7 players. I've got a game tomorrow and be going, bloody hell, hang on a minute, he wants to get 6 or 7 players in. I think I am, honestly, I promise you now, I'm happy with what I've got, you know. But it's only early, this is early days yet. I'm still assessing everybody. Again, but the ball is in their court, the ball's in the players' court. So at the moment, you know, the last 2 weeks have been actually first class. So, but we have a long way to go. You know, we're hook or by crook, we've got to get results. So, but if they carry on the way they are, we don't want to get anybody in. I said to Andrew when I first came in, I don't want to come in and do 15 players out, 15 players in. I want to give them an opportunity because, you know, hopefully we've got the players here to do well. And it's just a little bit of tinkering here, and a little bit of fitness here, and conditioning here, and a little bit of different voices. We could have a, hopefully, I believe it, and I do believe in these boys, that we have got a good squad. I really do. But you need a little bit of luck as well. That's where that's where it's important that we have a conditioning coach on board, a fitness coach on board, because if you get injuries, because we have got a small squad, if you get injury to certain people, then you do struggle. But no, the boys are first class at the moment.
So, man hugs aside when they score.
Pardon?
Man hugs aside when they score.
Yes.
And things like that. You talked about trying to bring the team together.
Yes.
Tell me what you're trying to do to make a team. When we on social media hear of unrest among the team, we hear about someone wanting to leave and someone being approached and this, that and the other. What are you doing to try to bring the team together?
Don't go on social media.
I
think social media is...
Social media, of course we're on social media.
No, you are. I'm not saying you not go on social media, I'm saying my players.
What are you doing to keep our team strong? What are you doing to build love? We love, when they score, we love seeing them hug it out.
Yeah,
it was like, his hat-trick was amazing, and seeing the bonds between them, that is personally the first time that I've seen it ever. Yeah. And it was amazing. So, what are you doing?
Well, just going on that older shot game, I just said to him, when we score, everyone jump on each other and man hug it out and this and the other. But I think it makes us feel good as well, doesn't it? You know, and they're all jumping on. I nearly jumped on them on the third goal, to be fair, but I think I've been injured. But no, I think if you see him in training the last 2 weeks, there is that togetherness. I promise you now, it's difficult to say, but you know, we are together. You know, and we have to be together. Like I say, if not, there's no point in being here. If one person don't want to be here, I ain't got a problem. See you later. If they don't want to play for Barrow Football Club, not a problem, because someone else will who really is passionate about the club, and you can't carry 1 or 2 people on social media. Unfortunately, this is the way it is now. I can't keep everybody happy. Now, the first 11 will think I'm God. Do you know what I mean? They think, yeah, it's the best thing since sliced bread. The subs might think, yeah, he's all right, but I want to start. The one sitting there stand not in goal think, what an absolute numpty he is. And that's the reality of it. But it's my job as a man manager to explain the reasons why they're not playing, explain the reasons why they're not in the squad, because I'll just tell them the truth. If I don't think that little Johnny's not playing so well, and big Johnny's coming and taking his place, I'll tell him that's a reason. There's no point me saying anything else, because in 2 or 3 weeks' time, when big Johnny's not playing so well and little Johnny's not saying, hang on a minute, they'll come back at me. Do you know what I mean? So I think truth is, you've got to tell them the truth. No one's ever come back to me and said, you said this and said that, because I just tell, if they're not the truth, I'm sorry, that's my opinion. But I think you can't please everybody, but I think if you treat them like adults, because they are adults, and you treat them like adults, and I treat them how I want to be treated, and then I think you're halfway there. I think the team bonding side of it, I think that comes through results. And I think obviously because it's a big game, the Aldershot game, obviously I've come in, I've told them to do this, and but I think they were generally happy, because I think it was like, we just got to win, for the first time in so many weeks. But there'll be opportunities when, Andrew don't know it, but we can go paintballing and things like that. We get that togetherness, that closeness together. We can go paintballing, anything like that. There'll be times when we can, they can go out for a meal together, and take their young ladies with them as well. Not their mistresses, but take their young ladies. Because I think the young ladies. But do you know what I mean? That team bonding is so important, because we're all in it together, And I think what was good about last Saturday, the Aldershot game, was that the ones who weren't involved in the change room after the game, high-fiving everybody and everything else, and that's what we want. And I don't expect them to be happy them not being involved, of course I don't. But I don't want him to sulk in this, because at the end of the day, they're part of what we want to do, and we have got a small squad, But the social media stuff, I've told them, I just want positivity, really. Come and see me. You haven't got to tell the world that you're not happy, because I think everybody knows if they're not going to start sitting in the stand, they're not going to be happy. So why tell everybody? It's just common sense, really. But I just being honest with them. That's all I am. Hope that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
Yeah, Grant's got to come off Twitter.
Question for you, Eddie. Back here.
Sorry.
I understand it's early in the process, but based on where you're at in the league at the minute, what do you see as a realistic expectation for the end of the season?
Yeah, very early. I know it's a boring old cliche, I'm a boy to tears, but it's every game, you've got to take every game as it comes. I apologise, and I'm boring as you like, but Saturday is the only game I'm worried about. Tomorrow, that's all we've got to worry about. And we get a good result tomorrow, we go on to Eastleigh. We get a good result, Eastleigh goes on from there. But, let's see where it goes. I don't want to sit here and go, by Christmas we'll be in the top 4, because, we've got to be realistic, But you go on a good run, then we can go anywhere. I promise you now, and we can go on that. We can go on a good run. And I think everybody can beat each other in this league. I don't think there's an outstanding side in the league at the moment, but the likes of the Forest Greens and the Grimsbys and the Bristol Rovers, obviously they're in the league now, and I think there's an opportunity for 2 clubs who have been around that area in the last 5-6 seasons. Have got a great opportunity to get promoted to the Football League. But why can't we? Why can't we? We've been in the Football League before. I've been in the Football League, and Grant has. And why don't we all go back in the Football League? Whenever it'll be.
Sorry, actually, I hope you don't mind. Is it possible to ask a question to you, Mr. Casson?
Sure.
All right.
Sure, if everyone
This does involve the managers as well, and it's an honest question. The lady over here actually makes a point, and it's all about consistency. Last season, it was fantastic, and we were a very strong team under Paul Cox, and there was all these rumours about making it to the league, and the FA looking at the ground and how it can be expanded, and he was saying, oh, we're not a joke anymore. And then we were not on holiday at the time, and then all of a sudden, well, to begin with, sorry if I'm long-winded, to begin with, he seemed to, the team changed almost unrecognisably from the successful team of the previous season. And then we went on holiday and saw that Paul Cox had gone under good terms, and you know what happened. But basically, your position with the managers that we've got now, are you going to give them the support they need in order to bring the club into the league, which is something that we saw was a possibility last season, but now we're seeing the possibility of the league actually going back into the Northern League this season, if we're not careful.
No, I mean, I think we've rehashed the Paul Cox thing to death, but our commitment to all of our managers has never diminished. I think I've been quite honest that I was very disappointed that Paul Cox decided to leave, because if you look at the amount of money that he had to spend and the facilities that he had access to at Hopwood and the kind of structure that we were expecting him to put in place, he had everything that we could give him to be successful. And then for whatever reason, it just, basically from January, it didn't come to fruition. And so...
Do you know why that reason is?
No, I can't really say, to be honest. I think part of it is Paul Cox has, he's a man he's got pedigree. He's got, he probably thinks that he belongs at sort of the Tranmeres or the Cheltenhams of the world and belongs back in the Football League, and maybe he didn't think it was going to happen here. I don't know, but he didn't want to be here anymore, and I don't think it had anything to do with what we were providing him. I think all we were, my dad, it's his club, and he bought it so that once a weekend he can look at the table and look at the trends and ask questions about which players he wants and all those sorts of things. And some managers probably can't deal with that level of interaction with their chairman. But that's all sort of in the past now, and I think hopefully what we're trying to demonstrate with these three guys being on stage and what you'll see in the next 3 weeks is that this is what we wanted all along, is managers who believe that this club can get into the Football League, managers who understand that isn't just about the players you bring in, it's about what you do with nutrition, what you do with fitness, what you do on the mentality side of things, and having guys like Grant who have that presence and leadership both in the dressing room and on the pitch to sort of get you over the hump in those tough games. So, it's obviously, it's probably the hardest thing to get out of this league, and we probably underestimated after last year how difficult it would be to make that next leap forward. But as I said, I think these gentlemen here are sort of rebuilding the foundation once again, and hopefully we'll see, like I said, a very special next 30 games with maybe a trophy run thrown in as well. So. Yeah, 80 looks one game at a time. I'm already thinking about Wembley, the double Wembley final in early May. So.
And you will give them your full support.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't want to see everyone coming and going all of a sudden.
All I'd say, sorry, all I'd say is that Paul and Andrew are giving our support. I promise you now, they've been first class, been absolutely top draw. So yeah, we're all on board and singing off the same hymn sheet. That's they want the same thing as us. I mean, that's why we're sitting here today. I won't be leaving my family for something like this. I promise you now, it's something. We could do things here. That's for sure. It's a good project, and we really want to do something. And it's Paul and Andrew sold me the club, to be fair, and I was, I'm loving it, absolutely loving it at the moment. And long may that continue, that's for sure. And I want to, like I said before, we want to put smiles on your faces. It'd be absolutely fantastic to do something special for you. I really would be.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your...
Hi Grant, this is for you. Do you remember your first game for Barrow? And who's the best player you've played against?
I definitely don't remember it, but I think he was here. Russell, no?
Go on,
Who was it? Does anyone know? One job, Russell, you're not even here. No, I don't remember it. There's been a few good ones in between. I always remember the game against Oldham in the FA Cup. That was probably one of my favourites. We got beat on the night, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was 1 or 2, was it Wembley or...
So he doesn't know, it's 1 or 2.
Wembley or the President's Cup, when he scored, I was spending more money.
Spending more?
Yeah,
There's not many games, you see. Not many good games I had. That's what I can't remember.
Very low.
Best player, I don't know. Vincent Company. She said Mark Hume, yeah, I don't know. Just dropping names and dropping there, sorry. No, I've been very lucky. Since I've left, I've had a few clubs in between, and I've managed to go on and achieve some good stuff. So I've been very lucky with what I've done. And, as I said, I'm very thankful, like I said in the interview today, about Kenny Lowe brought me here, and Lee Chamberlain kind of got me on a straight and narrow and said to me, look, if you want to have a career, you're going to have one, so start running around a bit more and you might be alright.
What happened at Sheffield Wednesday? Because we lost out on the sell-on fee. My fault.
Yeah, I think I was a Rochester for 10 grand, but it wasn't really what everyone was hoping for. I think we were looking for a few more. But no, I went there as a young boy, and it was a club that was massively under pressure with massive expectations to get back in the division, and obviously they went out in the summer and spent big money on players who you won't remember the names because they fell right out of the league. So that just shows you sometimes if you're not a good manager and you can't spot a good player, then you're not going to last very long. Still answered it though.
Just like to share a memory with you, Grant.
Are you turning that mic on or off?
When we first got you as a tearaway, it was a quote from Kenny Lowe. He said, no matter how big they are, how strong they are, Grant Holt will give as good as he's got skin like a rhino.
No, like a rhino.
And it did you well.
No, that's what I said. Kenny was one of them people that just wanted... We had a group of lads who knew what it was like, and a lot of them were from tough areas and upbringings, and they'd done a lot of travelling, and I said they came here and they just wanted to work, and that's something, when I spoke to the gaffer knows and understands that at clubs like this, how we work, fans want to see people run hard, and one of the gaffer's main thing is, no matter how good you do, and if your touch isn't there, if you're not winning headers, if you can't control the ball, the limit is you run, and people just want to see you to work hard, because the reason you're here and paying your money is because you worked hard all week to put your money on the door, and that's a given. So that should be the first thing you do. And that was Kenny Lowe's philosophy. You run as hard as you can, and if you win games, you win games. If you don't win games, the one thing is when everyone walks away from the turnstile, they all know that you've tried your best to win the game. Eh?
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Does that girl at the bar ask a question? Because I've heard her speaking for the whole thing.